Thank you for your interest in the Retained Recruiter show powered by iIntro. Before the show starts, I have a small favour to ask of you. Our goal is to provide you with the most insightful, helpful and practical recruitment knowledge and know-how from the best in the recruitment industry. If you like this channel and enjoy watching our content, hit the subscribe button to get notified as soon as we upload a new episode. Thank you again, and as ever, we're rooting for your success. Now, time for the show.
Oh, I do love that jingle, Joe. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Retained Recruiter Show. My name is James.
And my name is Joe. Thank you very much for joining us today. James, we have got an action-packed show for these people, haven't we?
We've had a terrific response. So all of you people who are joining us today, either live or watching this back, because I do appreciate for some of our clients and colleagues and people that we meet on the West Coast of America, it's a very early morning for them. So if you are watching this back on recording, thanks very much for making the effort and seeing us. But for all of you people alive, yes, we've got an action-packed 30 minutes where we're looking to share with you some really interesting information, we believe, on how you can adopt your processes or adapt your processes, and recruit top talent to your recruitment business. So yeah, we're going to sort of jump straight in, aren't we, Joe, and get on there. We headlined 3 particular topics for people. So, learning how to sidestep the 5 common or key mistakes that recruitment owners make when hiring. We want to talk about the art of candidate-centric hiring, and we sometimes talk about the craft of recruitment, but the art of candidate-centric hiring and unlocking the power of science to bring your process to life. So that's what we're looking forward to do. So yeah, Joe, let's kick off.
Okay, let's go. So the first topic we were going to talk about, and I think that this is a hot topic. We do this a bit when we do our training. Instead of sort of talking about what we should do, we talk about what in our experience we've seen people do that's not necessarily that effective and doesn't bring the desired results. So, we see this all the time, James, don't we? We work with, hundreds and hundreds of recruitment businesses every year. And all recruitment businesses, most recruitment businesses are wanting to grow. It's one of the biggest challenges facing business is the ability to recruit and retain their staff. So today isn't just about recruiting people. It's about being able to keep them as well. And we have a saying here at iIntro, don't we, James, that retention starts with recruitment anyway.
Absolutely. I mean, retention is such a big key point for people. And it's interesting. I saw some stats yesterday, and this is staggering because we're in the recruitment industry. 57% of new hires in the recruitment industry don't make it to their first year. And that's, even when we're talking to employers, when we're talking from a recruitment angle, where we'll talk, 25 to 30% attrition is not uncommon. You've got to say that, for recruiters who specialize in recruiting, that challenge of bringing people into your own team and retaining them is hugely difficult. And there are topics that we'll discuss today that will hopefully overcome some of those for you. So we really want you to get into that. So please get your pads and pens and pens ready.
Stand by your beds.
Here we come. Pads and pens ready. So take some notes, but also do reach out to us if you want any more advice. Please get in touch with Joe or myself on LinkedIn, or if you have our email addresses, it's james@iintro.com or joe@iintro.com. So get in touch. We're really easy to deal with, and we love talking to people. So do reach out to us, and there'll be some other connecting points we'll get through. Anyway, Joe, back to you.
We do. Hi, Mahesh. You're saying hello. I'm now watching us on here. Do drop questions in the comments. This is only half an hour, but we can talk pretty quickly. Okay, right. 5 major mistakes made when hiring for our own businesses. So as recruiters, we're pretty good, or we like to think we are, at recruiting for other people's businesses. And one of the reasons for that is because A, it's our job and we do it all day long. So we can focus on it wholly. Secondly, we're relatively objective when it comes to doing it for our own clients. When we then turn that on ourselves and we try recruiting for ourselves, we make the mistakes that many business owners do. So I'm going to talk you through what those are now. And these are, we kind of collected them up into the top 5. The first one, and I think that this is critical, is having a lack of awareness of the type of person you need and the job they're going to do. So we tend to recruit in different images. And we work with clients all the time, don't we, James, that have a job description and And we've all maybe been for interviews or got jobs like this, where the perception, what we thought the job didn't actually turn out to be the job. And when I talk about the job, we talk wholly. So we talk about the role, the type of person that you need, the culture and the environment, the management structure, the administration structure, so the infrastructure, the onboarding, the induction, everything. So to be able to create a more objective understanding of what you're recruiting for. So that's the first way that people make mistakes, is that they recruit for the wrong role, or they recruit the wrong type of people, because they don't know what they're looking for in the first place. And that's our job, really, is to help our clients to understand and to educate them and to advise them on how to do that better. So that's number one. I'll try and get through them, and then we can talk.
Can I just jump in on that one, Jo?
Yes.
Because obviously there'll be people listening and saying, no, I know what type of person I'm looking for. And as you said, the persona of the person that we think, sometimes we're looking at mirroring, I'm a good recruiter, so I want somebody who's going to be as energetic and as dynamic as me.
Yeah.
But I think and we're going to come back to this later on, because we're going to talk about how you inject some science into the process, because we talk about utilizing multiple layers of scientific and objective assessment to hire better by providing more data, better data leads to better decision making. As simple as that. At the moment, what we're saying is you actually think you haven't spent enough time preparing either the persona you're looking for, the job they're going to be doing, or how you're going to administer that person in the job. And I'm not just talking about KPIs, but sorry, Charlie.
No, absolutely, 100%. So that's the first one. You alluded to the second one before, which is then you end up recruiting the wrong people. We either recruit the wrong people because we don't know what we're looking for in the first place. So we talk about square pegs in round holes, but actually it might not be a round hole. It might be a triangular hole. We've just got that wrong. But that then means that we're then going out and recruiting the wrong people in the first place. Not only are we recruiting the wrong people because we don't know what we're recruiting them for, but also we then start to make, and this is what you mentioned before, these subjective assumptions about people. So using conscious and unconscious bias, we make decisions and assumptions about people, sometimes without knowing we're doing it, hence the, clues in the title. And then that means that we either take the wrong people on, or conversely, we don't take on the right people. And how many times have we interviewed people who, I had a client once and they just would never take anybody on who was wearing brown shoes. I mean, I think there was a thing about brown shoes in recruitment quite a few years ago, but that was his vibe. That's how he did it. It wasn't necessarily based on science or data. So he was using conscious bias, whereas we have other clients that we work with a lot who use unconscious bias. So halo and horns, so globalizing strengths or weaknesses. It could be that you're recruiting in your own image. We tend to do that quite a lot. Look around any recruitment organization. If you've got different departments, there tend to be miniature versions of the team leaders, managers, or directors in those departments. So we tend to recruit in our own image. Isn't necessarily bad, but there are quite a few cons that are associated with it. So that's because we're recruiting subjectively. We are selecting people subjectively. So recruiting for the wrong job is number one. Recruiting the wrong people is number two. The third one
about recruiting. I want to jump in on every point, Jo, because I'm just
itching. Keep jumping.
We had loads to talk about this one. But when you talk about that second point there, I think there's a lot of emotion that comes into because if you think there's a degree of stress when you're trying to hire, because you're looking to grow your business, you want to hire somebody, and what we find is many people. And this is going to sound strange because we're talking about recruits here. They don't know how to interview properly because they're really interviewing the candidate CV, or for those of you in America, the resume, and they're not really finding out enough about the person. And what happens is, remember, you're recruiting recruiters, unless you're recruiting graduates or people who are first-time jobbers into the sector. You're recruiting people who know what to say. They know when to say it. They know how to say it. They've been coached because they've been coaching people life. So what you ask and what they answer, it'll all start to sound really sensible. This sounds somebody good. Tell me about your performance at ABC Limited. Oh, I was a top performer there, and this month I did this, and this. And they're saying they're ticking all the boxes because you got this emotion coming race, and you got people sort of on their best behavior. And it's only when you find that stat that 57% of people in recruitment don't make their first year, they don't fail in their first 3 months. They fail between month 6 and 12. And if you like, they get found out. And who gets found out is the employee does, but actually it's really bad for the employer, you, the recruitment owner, because you just wasted many months of time, effort, and money. And according to the REC, Every time you lose somebody in the first year, it costs you 3 to 3.5 times salary. And one of the tools we have at iIntro that we share with all of our clients is a bad hire calculator. And it's fascinating how much money that's worth. And you might think, oh, 3 times salary. But I can go back 7, 8 years before we had the calculator. And I was talking to a big recruitment firm in London, recruiting hundreds of, had up to 100 employees in their business. And they said, if we lose a new hire, and they were hiring graduates, by the way, if we lose a new hire and they're paying a starting salary at the time of 24,000, you might say that's a bit cheap in London, it doesn't matter, going back a few years. But they knew, they'd worked out if they lost somebody the first year, it cost them £75,000. That was nothing to do with my stats. They'd worked that out themselves. And the REC then later confirmed that in 2017 with their report, which is the better way to hire, and actually they're considering the cost of a bad hire. So listen, we've got all that type of stuff. And listen, the little thing up above me saying to download our battle tested plan, go to www.retainedroadmap.com. That's got lots of information. It's going to help you because we're here to give you information. We also would like to meet up with you as well, but do that. Sorry, Joe, cut across number. Are we still on number 2? Better hurry up.
We are still on number 2, but we'll get there. It's fine. So 2 things. Firstly, I'll come back to the other one. If anyone is interested in the bad hire calculator, if you are curious about how much money you think it may have cost you to be losing people, we like to think that this is just par for the course. People are people, you're going to lose them. But that's not true. iIntro was kind of built on that premise that that's not true. So the bad hire calculator can really show you how much money it's actually costing when you are losing people in your business. The third one, and this is a reason why we do tend to lose people. One of the biggest reasons why people leave a business is because of management. So management challenges or mismatching on with their management. And sometimes that comes from mistake number 3, which is a lack of consensus within the business. So normally you have multiple decision makers within an organization within that recruitment process. And they're not always all recruiting consciously or subconsciously for the same thing. So what we need to do is to make sure when we're taking the job brief from the client, all of the main key stakeholders are involved and that they are all in agreement about what it is that they are looking for. So if you've ever had a situation where you've had a candidate through to your business, you've liked them, the managers like them, and then CEO hasn't liked them, and you think, why? Because I really like them. It's because you're all looking for different things. Your clients will be similar. If you've ever had a situation where you've had candidates that have, got through to 3rd or 4th stage and then been rejected by somebody else in the process, we needed to know who they were and what they were looking for then. So you need to make sure there's consensus across the whole hiring team on what you're looking for and what that type of person would look like. So that's number 3. Number 4 is,
Joe?
Yes.
I just want to jump in because I'm just looking at some of the comments on LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, that was the second thing I was going to mention.
Yeah. I've joined the Retained Recruiter Show. Yes, this is. And here at iIntro, we do help people pitch, win, and deliver retained recruitment work. But we are a broad church. And today we're sort of sharing with you how we help our clients not only sell retained recruitment, but actually how they should use the same processes and methodology when hiring for themselves. So not every Retained Recruiter Show is specifically about how you're going to learn how to sell iIntro. But please do download that retainedroadmap.com that we put up, because it's got information that will help you. There you go, it's up again. So Simon, listen, appreciate you joining. And yes, I did write to you and ask you to join the session, but it did say what the session was about. And this session is about building top talent for your recruitment team. By inference, that then also does help organizations go out and sell more retained work, because we're going to be talking about that as well. So there are many parts to this particular triangle. Anyway, Joe, sorry, I could have crossed you. Point number 4.
We have got, we digress, don't we? We really do. But we've got 56 shows. What number is this? Is this 57? I don't know. Yeah. We look like it's show 57. But we've got 56 shows, all available. Hopefully somebody in the iIntro gods will drop this into the comments for you guys. But there's 56 shows, all Retained Recruiter shows. I reckon half of them are all designed on how to win more business, how to win more retained business. There's a brilliant link, Simon. There's a brilliant show in there, which is the 5 steps to winning a recruitment retainer. So please go and have a look at that. So anyone can look at our back catalogue of shows. They're available to everybody.
Yeah, indeed.
Mistake number 4, recruiting too quickly. So we tend to recruit now because we need somebody now, and that puts us into panic mode. And as soon as you go into panic mode, you tend to become less choosy. Average candidates tend to look better. We sometimes have this tendency to think that anybody is better than nobody. That's not true.
Oh, you got another comment there, Jane?
Plyman's just posted the link to
the bad hire calculator. Absolutely.
Hire calculator,
which bizarrely is called goodhire.agency, but there we go.
Yeah.
So there we go.
So feel free to
lose you a little bit, Joe. I'm losing you on signal there. So number 4 was hiring too quickly. So I think you said it's don't hire just for
yeah.
the sake of
hiring. So we recruit too quickly. This comes from something else we're going to talk about in a minute, but it also comes from panicking and just taking anybody into your team. So we want to make sure we're doing recruiting at the right time, taking the time to recruit. So recruiting slowly will mean that you have less time. So you spend more time on recruitment, you spend less time managing the wrong people in your business. So make sure you're not recruiting too quickly. And then the 4th one is not being able to recruit at all. So a lack of good candidates. And that comes from a lot of the other stuff, really. So we're going to major on that in a second. There's a few key points we're going to touch on now for the remainder of the session. One is how to attract candidates. One is how to select candidates. And then one is what to do, like top tips, what to do to actually then improve your process moving forwards as well. So those are your 5 hiring mistakes that a lot of businesses make. We do these at expos quite a lot. We ask people to put their hands up and be honest about, which of these have they done themselves. I'll put my hand up and say probably all 5 at some point in my past when I've been recruiting for teams. So it's natural and it's normal, but it doesn't have to be. It's not optimal. So maybe have a think about your business. Think about, are there any of those 5 that you guys may be doing at the moment? And hopefully over the next 15 minutes, we'll talk to you about how to stop yourself from doing that.
There we go. Indeed. Listen, great, Joe. 5 tips, and listen, we'll post those in the group as well, so you know what those in the group, sorry, on the LinkedIn chat, so you can actually see those particular pieces. As we go into the next part, what we're going to do is try and show you how to prevent some of those mistakes by implementing a more thorough and more robust process. Why is that important? Well, this should be the process that you're using when you're looking to work with your clients. So why don't you adopt the same level of drive into sort of recruiting somebody for your own business? That's sort of the point we're making. Now here at iIntro, we help businesses, as I've said earlier, pitch, win, and deliver more retained business. And what we do is we say, let's practice what we preach. When we're hiring somebody, treat it like a retainer. Yeah. So what does that mean? Having a service proposition that says, when you're bringing candidates into your own business, potential employees, put them through your process so they understand why, first of all, you're not like every other recruitment business. Yeah, if you listen to this today, you either want to be, or you want to have some component of your business which is retained search. So treat your candidates who are trying to join your company in the retained search. Now, James Pickering, who's joined the conversation piece, thanks, James. James says he uses personality tests. That's part of the scientific process that we're going to come to as well, bringing that into the process. But it's all about when you bring that into the process, and that's where we differ to most people. Yeah, and as I think James is pointing out there, he profiles people before he interviews them. Yeah, because then you know what type of person you're about to spend time with and whether that's the type of person you wish to manage. Yeah, so bringing those type of things. So we're going to sort of turn that particular piece around. So there we go. So and thanks for the comment there, Don. Great comment, Joe. Carry on. I'm getting on my pedal stool. I need to come down.
Right. Let's talk about how to attract candidates then. So markets tighten all the time. One of the things that I hear a lot of people say in recruitment is that it's really hard to get good people. So let's talk about how to attract candidates. Now, James, I want your input here. There's something that we do here at iIntro that we do that therefore all of our clients do when they're recruiting for their clients. And I think it's deeply rooted in our outlook, our approach to what we do with candidates, who candidates are and what we do with them. They're just like the human collateral that we shove through a process, or are they very, very special and should therefore be treated as such? So think about when you're recruiting for your own business. Obviously, you put adverts on. We'll talk about sources of attracting candidates in a second. But the first thing I want to talk about is when you then find someone who's good, what do you actually send them? What do you send them about your organization? And does it entice people to your business, or does it put them off? Because top performers are not attracted to businesses based on job descriptions alone, are they, James?
No. And one of the tools that we use in a retained recruitment process is what we call a candidate briefing pack. And people might say, well, surely that's all the information that's on my website. But not everybody's got time to sort of dig around and search. So when you're reaching out to candidates, whether it's through a LinkedIn outreach that you've done or a job board that you've posted on, send something that which elevates your business. So we put together, with our clients, what we call candidate briefing packs, and those candidate briefing packs are a summary of the company, what you're doing, why you're different, what your vision is, what your mission is, all those things which will entice someone to think, oh, that makes me feel good about that organization, they're going places. Yes, we include the job description, of course, and then you'll talk about your methodology and your process in terms of how you're different in that marketplace. And that document is hugely powerful. It's a massive part of helping us pitch and win retained work with our clients, and it's an integral part that we then bring down into our own hiring process to say there. So again, all of a sudden, you're not like every other recruitment firm. There, you're gonna have people who want to come and work for you because you've demonstrated that it's not, hey, just turn up for an interview and I'll tell you whether I like you and whether you're good enough to come and work for us. So it's just changing the dynamic of that particular process. And in that, what we're trying to do here is share with the candidate why we're different, and we're creating a multi-dimensional picture. We're not just a one-dimensional, oh, there's a job description, if you think you've got what it takes to come and join us, apply here. We're sharing with them the overall image of what we're looking for, and then when we bring that candidate into the process, we're going to change that as well. That's what we'll come to the science in a couple of minutes. But yeah, absolutely, that's a really important part of what we're doing.
It is. So the candidate briefing pack, as you've just said, is something you send out to the candidate once you've spoken to them. That's going to help to present your opportunity. It presents it in the best possible light. It's got lots of information in there. Of course, you need to know what that information is. So the second part of being able to attract candidates is be attractive. We've got to give them a realistic understanding of the job. Hence mistake number one, and the need to make sure that you know exactly what it is that you're recruiting for. But also, why would someone come and join your business? What is it you could put in your candidate briefing pack and then extend that out to all your other shop windows? So marketing your business in order to get people to be attracted to it is a full-time job. All of your shop windows, if you do an email marketing, texting out to databases, putting ads on, posting on social media, all the different ways that you're going to find to source candidates, it's consistent, it's constant, it's relentless. So what is it that you're posting on there? So now you start to think about our EVP, our employee value proposition. As an organization, why would people want to work with us? Why do people work for us? What is it about us that makes us great? And who are the best people to say that to potential new employees? So, think about talking to your current employees, doing surveys, getting them to do testimonials, walk rounds of your offices. You can embed videos and all sorts into candidate briefing packs. And all that information that you've got in your EVP that you put in your candidate brochure, you then take snippets of that and you push it out into, using various different platforms, you push it out there into the universe on a consistent and constant basis, so that these people who, like Plowman said, the right people for your business will be attracted to your business. That's because they'll have seen you in their peripheral vision, having fun, being successful, being an inclusive organization, being a diverse organization, being a caring organization. Plowman's hit the nail on the head. People are going to look at your organization and think, well, what's in it for me? What's in it for me working for your organization? So create an employee value proposition, project that out there into the marketplace, do it on a consistent basis, and you will get people to come to you. People will be attracted to you. At the same time, of course, you can use all of that to then go out there and proactively approach people who you want working for your organization, be that experienced recruiters or even new recruiters. This is something else we need to look at, is widening that talent pool. So looking at people that have come from out of industry. This isn't about where they've been. It's about what are they able to do for your business and bring to your business. And I think we need to widen the net of what we think makes a good recruiter maybe as well.
Absolutely. I think, Joe, in terms of when we come around to that leads into this part that's kind of back. It's understanding that you need to have a process for hiring. Yeah, same way that we have a process for delivering a retained search assignment. You've got to have a process for bringing your own people into the organization. So you're starting with the job description, you're improving that with the EVP and the candidate briefing pack. You then have to understand, well, what type of person? So let's bring a bit of science into this. Yeah, what type of person will work well? I was working with a client that you know very well, Joe, last week in Manchester, and we were looking at their team dynamic. Yeah, and this is part of the work we do. We consult with our clients to team dynamic to enable them to recruit more people in. And which type of people? Do I want more of Billy or more of Jenny, or do I want more of Billy and Jenny? But why are they different, and how do I manage them and motivate them? So this is this three-dimensional picture. Start to inject some science into the process, and we spend so long building that persona that we think. But that's the conscious element. And the job description says, I'm looking for, whether it be a graduate or looking for somebody with X years experience and worked in the industry already, et cetera, et cetera. Those are the knowledge, skills, and experience. But what are the things that are going to motivate somebody? What's going to make sure that you hire people with the right judgment and right attitude to succeed in your organization? Quick analogy on sports. Yeah, I like sports. I like football particularly. A great player in one team gets transferred to another team and flops. Has he lost the ability to kick a football from left to right? No, it's just the environment is wrong and the team dynamic is wrong. So make sure you're bringing people into your team. So how do you do that? We work with an organization called the McQuaig Institute, and we profile the role. We assess the role before we think about what person we're trying to bring in. So use a bit of science, very simplistically nowadays. These things are so easy to do. Bring your business into the 21st century. Discuss amongst your team, what type of person works well here? Identify that role. And then when you start to outreach people, as James Pickering said, profile your candidate or your prospect, your potential employee. Are they going to fit in? If they're not the perfect match, and they probably won't be, how far off are they? How manageable is that? How will I, as the owner or the manager, have to adapt my style to accommodate somebody like that? Is that too much of a stretch for me or not? So these are the elements that you can start to bring into a process and structure your methodology. And these are all of the things that we do at iIntro to help you pitch, win, and deliver retained work with your clients. So we're just saying, let's practice what we preach, bring it through. The candidate who's coming through your process, you start thinking, hang on, this isn't like when I went for a job at ABC Recruitment. I just had to turn up on the day, met the MD for half an hour, and then, decided that they weren't offering me enough money, so I didn't go for it. This organization is different. How can I take that, go back to your EVP, Joe, how can I take that and use that to sell recruitment when I'm actually working for that great organization? So this is about elevating yourself and differentiating yourself in the marketplace. And that's what we help you do at iIntro. We help you differentiate, identify your USPs. Don't be a me too recruiter. Set yourself out as a me only recruiter in your niche and go out there and deliver. If you want some help on that, connect with us on that website address that's up there. Book some time with us and we'll share with you on a consultation. Anyway, Joe, back to your points.
Yeah, no, good point. Planner's made a good point as well. So forthcoming release of the 3-part guide to recruiting, working title in brackets. So that will be released. We'll make sure that everybody gets access to that. So attracting candidates, which we know is hard. Again, consistency and high quality approaches out into your market on a constant basis will help making sure your brand is on point and on message, but also gives a realistic understanding of your business. Now, once you're starting to attract people in, we then need to be able to select them. And when you're working in a famine market, so again, 2 types of market, feast and famine. When you're working in a famine market, it's even more important to make sure that we are objectively and scientifically selecting the right people for our businesses, because otherwise the candidate becomes king. Everybody looks great because there's not that many of them. So as you've just said there, James, when it comes to actually selecting people for your organization, we like to think that our gut is our best friend, but when it comes to recruiting for your own business, it isn't necessarily. Gut feeling interviewing is about 55% effective, according to a company called Adler Concepts in the US. So you may as well, if you're just going to bring somebody in and competency, biographically interview them, you may as well flip a coin. So what we need to do is we need to bring in levels of assessment, multiple layers of assessment, not making it taxing or difficult for the candidate, because it's still going to be a great experience for them. Interestingly, and I pulled up a stat earlier on. Where's it gone? 49% of people declined an offer and chose one offer over another due to poor experience during the recruitment process.
Not surprising.
So, no, it doesn't surprise me either. And weirdly, and I think there's a coincidence here, 48% of people who surveyed said they'd had a negative experience with recruitment within the past 12 months. So that is obviously us as recruitment businesses, but also us as businesses that are recruiting. So, the candidate experience is key. So you need to make sure the candidate experience is good, but you also need to make sure that you're scientifically and objectively selecting people for your organization. And we've come a long way from, biographical interviewing people on the basis of a CV, because as we know, James, this isn't just about can they do the job. This is about will they want to do the job. So, capability and motivation and fit, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely. And having that as part of your process, it will differentiate you with the candidates. It will mean you will hire better. Yeah. And by hiring better, our true measure for that is how many people do we hire are still in the job 1 year later. And one of the stats that we work with, both internal and external hiring, both so when with your employer, with your clients, but also as an employer, 96% of the people that we use, because we have a very structured and methodical process, are still with us 12 months later. So we're not 100% perfect, but we're 96% perfect, which is so much better. That 4% attrition compared to that 57% attrition that we mentioned earlier is just staggering. So that's what we're about, trying to help you build a team better by having a better value proposition for you to sort of, talk about what the candidates, what the people are going to come and join you, how they can sell more in recruitment, how you can then make sure the people you bring on board are going to fit into your team and, importantly, perform. Yeah, because you're given that they're in the right environment for them to succeed in your organization. And it's only if you use multiple layers of scientific and objective assessment in your hiring process will you be able to do that. If you just leave it to chance, just flip a coin and say, hey, you look good today, come and join me. There's a desk, there's a computer, there's a phone, get on with it. It's a lot more than that. We've moved on. We're out of the 20th century now. We're deep in the 21st century. You've got to position yourself as a 21st century recruiter. And we've got to make recruitment attractive.
Yeah.
Not just because of the money they can earn, but because it's a great job. You're changing people's lives all the time. So that's what we need to do on that one.
Yes, absolutely. Final point, and then we're going to just do a quick summary before people leave. So the final point on all of this is measuring it. Measuring your current recruitment process now, or your attraction and selection process. Put new things in place, and then measure it again. So key measurements are going to be time to hire, vacancy fill rate, cost to hire, attrition levels, but also performance levels. Just because somebody doesn't leave, it doesn't mean that they are performing. Just as there is always a percentage of your business that will leave in the first year or year on year, equally, there's always a percentage of any business that is underperforming, and recruitment is very much a highly performance-driven environment. So, you don't want people in your business who are underperforming either. So, measuring attrition, or performance, vacancy fill rate, time to hire, cost per hire, a couple of others, but also things like diversity. Diversity within your attraction process, but also measuring things like talent pooling. So when I said before that recruitment is a full-time job, it is. You should always be attracting people to your business and always pooling talent, because you can't just turn it off and on like a tap. We know that as recruiters, so just make sure that you're doing that as well. Right. If anyone's interested in speaking to us about any of this, we are very, very capable of being able to give advice to people on how can you improve your own recruitment process. If you don't believe that we can help you to get a 96% retention rate, then contact myself or James O'Brien and we'll show you how that's done. Of conviction of our actions there. Should we just do a brief summary before we go?
Yeah, I think so. And listen, by the way, thanks for all your comments today. It's been great.
Yeah.
And Don's put up a couple of great points. He pointed to a great article called Slow Productivity. So hire slower, but hire better. And he's also talked about that 1 year anniversary and the reciprocity of actually having a candidate and an employer say, listen, I'm glad I joined here because I'm really enjoying it at the 1 year anniversary. And for me, it's all about methodology and process. That's got to be embedded within your business. It's got to be part of the DNA of your business, because if you do it right for yourself, you're going to do it even better with your clients. So that's the point.
Absolutely.
Sorry, you want to summarize?
Okay. So 5 major mistakes that we make when hiring for our own businesses. First one is a lack of job awareness. So making sure that we understand the job and the culture and the environment that they're going to fit in. The second one is a lack of consensus. So people within the internal hiring team disagreeing consciously or subconsciously about what they're looking for. The third one is therefore hiring the wrong people, either because you're recruiting for the wrong thing or because you're hiring in a subjective image or you're hiring in a subjective way. The fourth one is recruiting too quickly. So having a knee-jerk reaction to recruitment and just grabbing anybody off the street. Nobody is better than nobody. So just don't, if you can't find anyone, just keep digging. And then the fifth one, of course, was not being able to recruit at all. So having no pipeline, having no candidate talent pool out there from which to fish. Key top tips would be, think about those mistakes and think about, maybe areas where your business could improve. Come up with an attraction strategy. Make sure you've got a good EVP, a good attraction strategy. Think about what James said about candidate packs, other things like that you can use to elevate your candidate attraction process. Think about your candidate experience, but then think about the whole recruitment experience as well, James, wouldn't you? So from a selection point of view, like you said before, make sure you just sit down and put a process together. Don't base it on the people you've already got in your business. Base it on the people that you want in your business. And we can certainly help with that. And we can recommend science and data-driven platforms and tools that you can use that are going to help you to do this more effectively. So you don't have to rely on your own gut feeling. And then make sure that you're measuring. Make sure that you're measuring what's working and what isn't. And then it's constant test and retest with this, isn't it, James?
Absolutely. Listen, we've had a blast, Joe. It's a whirlwind. We've been speaking at about 250 words per minute. That's probably what the artificial intelligence will tell us later. Listen, we can't get all the information in, but we would really love to chat with you. If you're thinking about growing your business, and if you think about you'd like to do all or part of your business as retained recruitment, please do get in touch with us. Final link will be there, but you know how to get in touch with us. We'd love to sit down and have that chat with you to see if we can help you. And if we can, genuinely, we will do our best to do that. So really appreciate it. Remember, we have these shows over the summer every 2 weeks. So the next show is coming up in 2 weeks' time. Joe, we've got a great guest lined up.
We have. So we are going to be joined by Rhys Jones, who is an advisor to hundreds of recruitment businesses, helps businesses to grow, helps businesses in all sorts of different ways. And he is absolutely phenomenal. So we're going to be talking to him in 2 weeks' time. So that's going to be a really great session.
So yeah, we'll invite everybody through the email system and through LinkedIn, but really do appreciate you bearing with us and staying with us today. Thanks very much for your time. So it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me. Have a great day, everybody.
Here comes the jingle.
Yo.